How did that feel when he alluded that you're on steroids or something like that?
Yeah, number one, I don't do it. And number two, what I want you to say is, you know what, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that guy, in fact, he did say he's in the 0.00001% of genetics if he does it naturally.
What is the Liver King's response to this claim that the Liver King is hormonally improved by science?
The question has always been, do you take steroids? Do you take PEDs? The answer to that is no.
There's something strange about internet fame. One day, you're just another guy with a beard and a business. The next, you're shirtless, screaming about primal tenets, downing raw bull testicles on TikTok for millions to see. That was the world of Liver King. And it worked, better than anyone expected. Brian Johnson was a man who understood one thing very clearly. People don't want reality. They want a spectacle. And he gave them that. Every second of content, from dragging weights down suburban streets to eating whole animal organs on camera, was performance art disguised as ancestral truth. But what made it dangerous was how many people believed it. Liver King branded himself as the cure for modern masculinity. He sold an idea that if you rejected the comfort of modern life, ate like a caveman, trained like a savage, and lived by his 9 ancestral tenets, you'd become a king, alpha, dominant, untouchable. And the body? The body was the proof. A thick, shredded, bronze-colored mass of veins and abs, almost cartoonish in its perfection. It wasn't just impressive, like it was suspicious. But every time someone called him out, he denied it. Steroids? He laughed them off. PEDs? Never touched the stuff. In interviews, on podcasts, on Instagram lives, it was always the same script. I'm not on steroids, and I never have been.
Taking steroids, I've never done PEDs other than prioritize, execute, and dominate in life.
Over and over, like a man desperate to convince not just the public, but maybe even himself. What made his lie stick for so long was how confidently it was told. He wasn't subtle about it. He made the denial part of the brand. Fans would defend him in comment sections like he was some sort of muscle messiah. Anyone who questioned his physique was just a hater, jealous, or too soft to live ancestral. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, something completely different was happening. Because while the cameras captured raw liver and primal workouts, a quiet digital trail was forming. Emails, receipts, and conversations that told a much darker story. And once they surfaced, the entire kingdom started to crack. See, what made this story spiral wasn't just the lie, it was the scale of the deception. Liver King wasn't just a fitness influencer, he was an empire, a marketing machine selling supplements, lifestyle plans, and a whole identity to millions of followers. And the centerpiece of it all was a fake. It wasn't just about steroids, it was about betrayal. People didn't feel like they were watching a man get exposed. They felt like they were watching something sacred get violated. Because for a lot of young men, Liver King wasn't just a character, a symbol of what you could be if you went against the grain. But it turns out, he was playing the same game he told them to reject. And it all started to fall apart because of one email. Now, this is where it gets really messy. The part that nobody expected, but everybody kind of knew deep down. The email was dated back to 2021, long before the fame, long before the podcast denials, and long before the raw organ feast went viral. It was sent by Brian Johnson himself to a bodybuilding coach, and in this message, he laid it all out. Every hormone, every dosage, every drug he was injecting into his body. Over $11,000 a month in performance-enhancing substances. It was cold, clinical, no fluff, just a man mapping out his pharmaceutical blueprint like a checklist, and in that moment, all the bluster, all the primal yelling, all the testicle-eating antics, it all became background noise. Because this email was the truth, and there was no denying it.
Hey bro, I reached out to you on Instagram, realized I should probably hit you in a few places. I work with Brian Liver King Johnson, owner of Ancestral Supplements.
The person who leaked it? Derek from More Plates, More Dates, a guy who had been suspicious of Liver King from the jump. Derek built a following by analyzing physiques and calling out PED usage. And when this email landed in his inbox, he didn't hesitate. He uploaded a full breakdown, going over every drug and every lie with surgical precision, no drama, just receipts. The internet lost its mind.
For context, by the way, I went and checked to see if there was a DM from this guy. There was a DM from somebody who had the same handle, and it was unsent. Like when you see a DM, it shows like a request, you want to accept or reject it, and it's just blank, that you know that somebody sent a DM and then unsent it, so it looks blank, but the request is still showing. To me, that was probably the same guy. He probably unsent the message after he saw that I didn't respond, or perhaps they decided they wanted to go the claiming natty route after and wanted to just like get rid of the, I don't know, the DMs. I don't really know.
The video hit millions of views in days. Fans who had once defended Liver King were now scrambling to delete old comments. Influencers who once collabed with him started distancing themselves. Fitness YouTubers, podcasters, even TikTok dietitians, everyone weighed in. It wasn't just drama anymore, it was a reckoning. But what made it hit harder was was how calculated it all felt. This wasn't some fitness dude caught experimenting. This was a man who planned every milligram of deception. He used those drugs to create a physique, not for competition, not for aesthetics, but for marketing.
All you gotta do is eat liver and bull testicles and you'll get jacked. And obviously he was spending $12,000 a month just injecting himself with steroids. And that's how he was getting jacked, but he would sell supplements to people of ground up liver and bull testicles, and people would buy them. And he got rich, and he was getting very, very rich.
His supplement brand, Ancestral Supplements, was making tens of millions per year. Every protein jar, every organ pill, every collagen scoop, all sold under the illusion that if you followed his lifestyle, you too could look like him. No needles, no labs, just liver and grit. That lie sold products, that body built. Cult. Then came the apology video. A dimly lit room, Liver King sitting in front of the camera, no theatrics, no shirt, just the king facing the crowd. And in that moment, he cracked.
I'm making this video to apologize because I f***ed up, because I'm embarrassed and ashamed, because I lied. Yes, I've done steroids, and yes, I am on steroids, monitored and managed by a trained hormone clinician. Liver King, the public figure, was an experiment to spread the message, to bring awareness.
It was supposed to be honest, redemptive even, but it landed like a punch to the gut, not because people didn't expect it, but because they did. The confirmation made it real, and for many, it was unforgivable. Because when you build an identity on truth and strength, and it turns out to be fake, the collapse is never soft. It's loud, it's embarrassing, and it burns everything around it. But what happens after the confession? That's the part nobody talks about, because Liver King's empire wasn't just built on muscles, it was built on money, and money doesn't stop easily. After the apology dropped, the backlash came in waves. First, the influencers, some mocking, others disappointed, a few pretending like they were never fans to begin with. Then came the articles, the think pieces, the I told you so videos. But beneath all the noise, something more subtle was happening. The empire was trying to survive. Because while Brian Johnson admitted to the lie, he never really stepped away from the throne. He didn't quit. He didn't disappear. He just pivoted. The messaging changed. Suddenly, it was about mental health, about the pressure of building a persona so loud, so extreme, that it became a prison. He said he was trying to help young men struggling with depression and self-worth, that the Liver King was created as a symbol, a kind of exaggerated masculine ideal meant to wake people up, that the steroids weren't to deceive, but to protect the image. But that defense landed flat, because the deception wasn't just physical, it was intentional. The supplements were still on the shelves, the brand was still alive, the emails were never meant to be seen. There was no nobility in the lie, just marketing, and that's what made this story hit harder than most influencer downfalls.
Intestines are shattered. I do enemas every day to take a shit. I have to lay down on the ground with the fetal position with my legs to the left to actually go to the bathroom.